So today I'm turning a fresh Windows Server installation into a fully functional Active Directory environment, and then we can look at how we can manage that in PowerShell like a real enterprise admin. So over here, we're simply going through the various steps that need us to have the virtual machine set up. So simply give it a name, and from there we can go ahead and click Next. And this allows us to choose the generation. That's just for firmware purposes to make sure that we have a secure supported OS. Then we can decide on the size of our RAM, and from there, we simply could choose a network access point, like maybe your networking. This could be internal, it could be external. It simply depends. And then we just have to make sure that we have the rightful locations where this virtual machine is going to be installed. And then we can go ahead and select our ISO image. So there's my server OS, and then we can click on finish for that installation to actually begin. So with that in place, we simply have to go back to the server within Hyper-V, and then we can start this installation. So let's just quickly access that. And you can see it over here. Click any key to boot from CD or DVD. All right, and there is our installation getting to start. So let's go ahead and just maximize this. Sometimes the view isn't great. You might just want to put that in enhanced view, which would actually give you better visibility. And that should actually suffice for you to get started with the installation. Okay, and once we have that, we'll go ahead and select the rightful version that we're after, click on Next, agree to the license, and then we can go ahead and proceed. Now, if you want to have a custom installation, you can simply go ahead and make adjustments to your drives, etc. And then you can click Next after that. And that should begin the installation itself. So our installation is going to be running, installing various features, upgrades, and other necessary tools that are required for this installation to actually complete successfully and give us access to various resources that we need in order for us to actually run this server as it were in an enterprise environment. So let's just give it a bit of time for it to finish all these steps. Okay, the installation is nearly done, and there we go. So this will just take a few seconds for it to complete at that particular point. And here it says Windows needs to restart to continue. So just give it a moment for it to do that reboot. And when you sign in after that, it should give you the opportunity to fill in the details that you need to continue with the installation. Oh, there we go. We have the full screen option that allows us to enlarge the viewing of this window. So let's just go ahead and enlarge that. And then we can also provide the credentials for this administrator account. So this is the default admin account that is created when you are actually doing this installation, which provides you with the admin rights to manage this entire server. Okay, that didn't take long at all. So we simply want to go and proceed with the installation for us to have access into the Windows itself. So we simply want to go and select the Control-Alt-Delete, and then you key in your credentials. And with that, it might run a few updates and just make sure that everything is perfect before it gives you the full window version. But there we go. Our installation is complete. And now you have your Windows Server operating system running. The next thing is for us to be able to access our Active Directory and visualize the different types of tasks that we may simply want to do. So for us to be able to do that, we first have to go and add the roles that allow us to have access to Active Directory users and computers, or ADUC. And we simply have to do that by going to add roles and features over there. And then we'll proceed and click next. We have role-based or feature-based. Just make sure that you are referencing the rightful Windows Server if you're on a network. And from here, you have the Active Directory domain services. This is the feature that allows you to have ADUC running within your environment. So let's select that option. From there on, we proceed and click next, and then we request that this Windows Server is restarted. In the process of promoting it to domain controller, just go ahead and click install, and you may decide if you want to close that window or leave it open so that you can visualize the process of the installation, but it doesn't actually hinder this server from becoming a domain controller once you've initiated that process. All right, because this is our first and brand new domain controller, we're simply going to create a new forest. So this is more like the base of our environment. We'll call it catalyst.local. click next after that. And this allows us to begin the process of actually making sure that if we are going to add other servers in this particular forest, they'll simply be joined to this domain catalyst.local. Okay, let's see how this progresses. Okay, so at this point, we simply have to provide a functional level for the forest that we have, which actually requires us to provide a password for it. So simply go ahead and provide a password in that area. And once we have the password provided, we actually can now progress by clicking next from here, and this brings us to the network BIOS domain name. And this is very important because it's with this name that we can actually look up this computer on the network. So we simply should see the net BIOS domain name pop up in that area before we can actually proceed. And this is one thing that you might actually want to take down if you are going to continue the configuration later on, just to make sure that you're safe. So there you can see Catalyst is on net BIOS name. Click next, and then we can look at the next phase, which focuses on the path. And there we have the various path for our database and various other features relevant to this server. So at this point, we're very much comfortable. We'll simply go ahead and click next. We should be able to finalize this soon. Sometimes you might actually encounter a few errors, but if it's successful, you shouldn't really worry. You should actually be able to progress without much trouble. Okay, like I said, there we go. Don't worry about that. Just go ahead and click on install. You shouldn't really be bothered by that. Just go ahead and make sure that this finalizes, and then we should actually begin seeing the various features that come with the management console of Active Directory. And once this installation is over, we should even be able to create users and look at the various management of different tasks, devices, and other cool stuff that come with Windows Server. And there we go. So you're about to be signed out again. Just go ahead and sign out, and then you can sign in and have access to the features that we're after. All right, so there's Catalyst. Let's go ahead and key in our password. This is very exciting because from this point onwards, your installation is done. All you've got to focus on is the management, the server manager area. And there's a lot of stuff that you can actually complete within your GUI area without even accessing your PowerShell, although knowing some PowerShell for status is very important as you encounter those as you progress. So over here, I'm simply looking for Active Directory. Okay, it appears it doesn't want to pop up over there. So there's actually a simpler way of doing it, if you may, where you could actually access it through PowerShell. So we can already see our roles, but let's quickly go ahead and open our PowerShell over here. And in this area, you can simply go and type dsa.msc, which is going to open your console over here. And there you have your base of this particular Active Directory, and you can go about creating various users, adding computers, adding domain controllers that you may simply want to be part of the forest, and many other resources that you may simply want to actually explore in the process. And that, my friend, is the beginning of the fun stuff that we're going to do looking at Windows Server management features. I'll see you in the next one.